would you evaluate it?
Well, I felt like we started off very strong, especially with our A group. I thought both Trey and Taylor both, threw the ball pretty decent. I thought they got them in and out of the huddle. As the day wore on, and we got a lot of reps. I thought we got a little bit, loose there, especially at the end and the last 15 to 20 minutes. I felt like it was a little bit loose, but we got no huddle done. We got our punt install done. We've got 2 groups of punt, 2 groups of field goal. So that aspect I thought was very strong.
And how do you approach that when you see some lags there? Because there's one train of thought, you just come out next day and hopefully correct that stuff, but boy, you don't have a lot of time here.
No, we've only got a few days before we have to start getting ready for a game, so I've got to make sure I work them hard enough but have enough legs that where they can show what they can do in a game. I mean, if their legs are completely shot in that ball game, then we won't have an opportunity to evaluate them, and that's the key. So that's what makes it tough about having a preseason game 8 or 9 days into the season. It's the game becomes part of your practices, and so you have to kind of factor that in. So that's what we've done.
How's your evaluation different this year, or is it because guys better this year? He's going to be my starter there. He's going to be my starter there. Last year, you kind of didn't know that at this point.
Yeah, I mean, again, we've got a very solid receiving core. I do know that. Our DBs really struggled during the one-on-one session, and both quarterbacks, were throwing dimes, and so you could tell the work that the quarterbacks put in the offseason, and certainly the receiving core is in great shape. They were fast and they caught the football, and so I feel like the receiving core is a little farther ahead than what the secondary is. Which is usually the case, though. And then on the flip side of the coin, I felt like the D-line, was strong today versus our offensive line. So our offensive line, we've got to figure the right pieces and figure out who we're going to put where, and then they've got to come to work every day.
Speaking of the D-line, so many times last year when we talked to you about the D-line and injuries, you brought up Daniel Ross's name, a guy who missed all of last season. He's out there today. He made it through day 1, which I don't think he did last year.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Tell me about him and what we can expect to see from him when he gets
Well, I mean, Daniel's, he's very unique. I mean, he's a guy that came up here at 19 years of age and from a junior college and kind of was just a baby, and then grew up and went to the NFL and made a lot of money, and then he's back here now helping us, on our track to win a Grey Cup. And so he's extremely explosive. He's got an array of moves. He's strong in the run game, and he's a good person.
Have you got the Wesley and Woodley wearing name tags?
Yeah, well, they unfortunately, one of the Woodleys, he hurt his hamstring today, and the other one is still getting over the knee that he had last year. So they're both still inside the building there. So hopefully in a few days we have both of them out.
The trade for Theren Churchill from the Argos, what precipitated this trade, and what do you see out of Theren?
Well, we're trying to solidify our offensive line, and we've got a guy that was thought enough of to be drafted in the first round, and he's a guy that Mac and some of those guys were familiar with, and the thing that I like is the fact he's local. He's from an hour away and lives here in Edmonton, and so we're trying to do as good a job as we can to make sure that we're turning over all the rocks for the local guys.
Martez, Ivey, Kevin Francis on suspended. Maybe Ivey first.
Yeah, he's having some issues with a passport. And we've had other guys that we were fortunate enough to get in and get the next day passport. So he's waiting on his, and they said that they're supposed to be expedited. It's late by about 2 weeks. We still are waiting. And, again, when he gets here, then we'll see what he's got.
And Kevin Francis?
Yeah, K-Fran, he's right now he's not here. We'll see, when he reports. But, again, he's an awful good player. We certainly, would like to have him.
Is it still related to the issue?
Yeah, the issue that they had earlier, that's exactly why he's not here. He unfortunately was upset, and so that's we've just got to move on and find the guys that are, worry about the guys that are here.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Appreciate it.